Welcome folks, welcome gents to a brand new video. This week, my voice is killing me, but also, I came up with the bright idea that absolutely no one else has done before, to put my track on a table. I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner, but yeah. So I have moved from my kitchen floor to my mom's table. So this is nice, although it can only hold a circle, so I can't power this, because my only powering track is a straight. But that's fine, because we're going over more broken engines. Today we're doing two, a Wabash diesel and a Rio Grande switcher diesel. How exciting. So the reason I am going over two is because one is very small, and it has two colors on it in total, and the other one I don't know much about. So let's get this thing on the tracks. So I will see you when it is on the tracks. Okay, got it on the tracks. So this is my Wabash diesel. As I mentioned prior, it does not work. Yeah, and I don't know much about the Wabash. I know nothing at all about it. So I'm gonna have to research that when this is over, except I know that I'm way too lazy to do that, so yeah. But this has two where those are. And both have two wheels. So yeah. This model is very, very dirty. I'm sure you'll be able to see soon. Gotta get back on the tracks. So if we go to this side, we can see dust. See, dust, as you can see. So it is pretty dirty. I do like its paint scheme though. Gray, white, and a navy blue. Blue is much darker in real life than it is on camera. So yeah. So this is 452. Yeah. It has a little Wabash symbol right there. You can't make it out because my camera's being stupid. But yeah. So this thing uses an older kind of coupler, I believe. So yeah. And that is the only coupler on this model, as the front is missing one, like most of my pieces. So we have a golden horn right here, right above the cab. I do not know what class this is. I have seen them before, but I cannot recall what they are called. Yeah, so if this thing did work though, it would have a light here and a light back here, which would probably function, except they don't. They don't even turn on. Best this thing can do is growling. That's about it. So yeah, you can see, very dirty. You can't really see it, but it's dirty. So yeah, not much to say about this, which is why I also have that. So this is a pretty cool model though. And I would say it goes along nice with my Baltimore and Ohio diesel that I showed last time. So yeah, this thing's really cool. Wish I could restore it to working condition. Whoops. Well, that didn't help, but eh. So yeah, I wish I could restore it so it would work. There's a slight tilt. So yeah, but I mean, I wish I could store all my models. Just like the Rio Grande switcher, which we're going to get on to. Now, I don't have to do a cutaway here, because this thing has no wheels that move away from the frame. It's all rigid. So inside you can see just the motor right there in the cab. So yeah, and you can actually see through the front there, but I have my light on and there's no light behind it, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. So there's an orange thing here on the cab, and on the bottom there's text that says Rio Grande, which I'm sure you can make out, even though it's blurry. On the top we have a fan. We have a horn here, another horn on the other side. You can see its shadow there. And this thing has all of its couplers. Hooray! So, yeah, there's a coupler here. Got an older style of coupler. And this is another coupler right here, too. So, that's nice. Yeah, so on the bottom we can see those kind of wheels, which I don't know if those have anything to do with it or what. Probably need oiled or something. I don't oil my models. I really should. So yeah, you can kind of see all the components inside there. This thing is pretty lightweight. I mean, to be expected. It's really small. Rolls easily, as it shows. So, yeah. This is a really good model. Honestly, well, I mean, there's nothing much to say about it. But this is probably one of the higher up models in terms of favorites. Now, it does have a light here and a light here. And if the model did work, I would probably say that neither of those would actually be real lights. So you can see the back cab right here. So, yeah. Now, personally, I would say that this model is one of my favorites, because I live in Colorado, and where I live, the Rio Grande built their tracks. So I live really close to the Durango and Silverton. I have a book and a hat to show for it and a few other things. But yeah, I live really close to the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad. And even closer than that is I think it's in Telluride, I don't know, but there's a galloping goose there that you can ride on certain days. And a few pieces of rolling stock from the Rio Grande. Of course, it's narrow gauge stuff, and there you can even see a replica of Galloping Goose number 1, which I have a photo of. So, I have a personal connection to the Rio Grande, so this is pretty cool, this model right here. Yeah. Ain't it weird that I have more things to say about the small model and less things to say about the big model? It's kind of odd. But, yeah. So, there's a lot of fine detail, like you can see lockers or vents, where those are, on the side, detailed in. You can see detail above the trucks. Other side, pretty much same thing. That's nice. So, yeah. Hey, you can be out there. Okay, try and get this thing back on the rails. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, but you can see more lockers on the side painted in. They're a lot more visible in real life. Barely see them on the camera. I'm sure that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that my camera's blurry. No, why would it have anything to do with that? So yeah, but you can see where kind of arches up here, and there's a fan. So I guess that fan is more important than the others. It's also bigger than the other fans. You got a little grate there where that is. You got point right here and point on the other side. Yeah. Got a little door right there. These two models right here do not scale well with each other, I'd say. Like, do you see how small that cab is on the Wabash diesel? Then we move over to the Rio Grande, and it's the exact same size, the cab, if not bigger, on a smaller model. And then, like, the engine crew would be maybe that big on the Rio Grande switcher. Over here, they'd be taller than the cab, standing on the edge. So these do not scale well. I don't know why. Kind of a mystery to me. I am puzzled. So yeah. But honestly, these are two pretty cool models. Got some details up here. This is off center. I want to break the model now, but I can't. So yeah. Pretty cool, you know. I like the models a lot. Words, please word. My words aren't wording. I'm just trying to think of stuff to say about these for runtime, because this is only 12 minutes so far. So yeah. And actually, my Rio Grande switcher here, just like the Baltimore and Ohio diesel, doesn't have a number. I just thought of a reference to Thomas. You know when Don and Douglas say, like, their numbers must have slipped off or gone missing? That's what this reminds me of. Like, what? How do you just not have a number? That serves it right, I guess. So, yeah. Not much to say about these things. So, yeah. That's why I grouped them together. There's no way these could make a good video on their own. So, yeah. Well then, so moving forward, I'm hoping to get a train table, maybe. But I will say I have at least 3 models to go over still. I'm not gonna tell you what they are, although you probably know one of them. So yeah, but these will be the last 2 non-running models, at least for actual locomotives. You know, there's other train-like things that I have that don't run necessarily. They're train-like things, but they aren't like trains like this that pull heavy loads or something. So yeah, but that's probably gonna do it for this video. Like and subscribe so that way my voice doesn't kill me. But I will see you in the next video. So like, subscribe, and comment, and share, and hype, because I've heard that's a thing now. And I don't know, make an edit or something. I don't know. Do something. But I will see you next Tuesday. Goodbye.